Hello my beautiful Bitterroots, welcome to my channel, and today I'm doing a nail tutorial for you guys. I had a couple requests, one from Tiffany and one from Hen, so I decided I was going to do the nail tutorial. I decided to change up the colors a bit, so I decided to go with this color scheme. I am going to be using Born Pretty stamping plate. And I will be focusing in on this rose section, and this is the stamping plate BPL. I don't know if you can see that. Get to focus. BPL 029, and we'll be focusing on the roses right here. Has lots of different ones. There's another rose here. We could possibly put this on a finger as well. Again, there's the Born Pretty. I do have this, I don't know how to pronounce it, PUEEN latex tape. It's liquid peel off stuff. If you don't have this, I will show you what this is like without it for the stamping purposes. So you can just clean up with a cotton ball, cotton swab with acetone, like so, on your fingers. This is just a little bit easier when we are doing the gradient effect on our nails. And then I have my project polishes. I'm going to do the gradient effect with these Wet n Wild Mega Last polishes. This is in the color I Read a Good Book. This one is in the color Disturbia, which is purple with this gold shimmer. This one I don't know the name. It's like it's a purple with a holographic shimmer, but it's kind of sheer. So I want to put this in the middle of these two because this helps provide a really nice gradient effect. So, and then for the roses, I'm going to stamp using this Julep Soft Focus Finish soft mint shade. I know it's a really odd shade, but with the soft mint, because it's a chalky white finish, it'll really bring out this polish right here. And this is in the color Alley. So I'll stamp with this first, and then I'll top it with this. So this is OPI in Is This Star Taken, which has, it's silver with these barred glitters. A cosmetic sponge for this. And one thing that I want to point out here, once it focuses, is right here on the end of this cosmetic sponge, I don't know if you can see that there are grooves. A lot of people paint on this end of the cosmetic sponge. I do not suggest to paint on this just because of these grooves. It will leave this print on your fingers when you're stamping. So I would turn and use it on a surface that's pretty smooth and flat with no grooves. So I would turn and use this section right here, or this section right here, or right here, or here. Just don't use this end. A lot of people use this end because they have more control, but I find that those grooves get transferred and it's hard to try to cover up. So I would turn to use this. Also, this has got some fuzzies. So I have a lint roller, and lint rollers come in handy when doing this. So I'm just going to use a lint roller on this cosmetic sponge just to get rid of all the extra little fuzzies that are on this, because those will transfer onto your nail and you don't want that. You will need the Born Pretty stampers, and I have several of these stampers. Now I want to talk about how to prep these. When you get any of these silicone stampers, they will come like so, and they will come very oily, and they will not pick up an image at all. So what I do is I took out this and I washed these with soap and water, and then I dried them with or first, hold on, back up. So before I did anything, I used a Mr. Clean sponge, and I just lightly brushed the sponge on the very top of this. See how it's kind of cloudy now? That's just to kind of prep it. After I lightly brushed the magic eraser sponge on this, a lot of people use a nail file, and it just scratches it up too much, and that just kind of sketches me out a bit, because I don't want any chance of this having gouges in it at all. So after I did that, then I took this over to the sink and washed it with soap and water, and then I dried it with a paper towel. And then I use a lint roller to make sure that there are no debris left on this. And then you can just put this back into the monocle like so. And I put the lid on just so it's prepped and ready to go for the next time. I have 3 different sizes. This is the largest one, I have medium, and then I have the smaller one. I think I'm gonna just work with the smaller one. So this was already washed, but I'm gonna make sure I have no debris on this sucker at all. I also have this Born Pretty scraper. Don't use these metal scrapers. Now this is an Essence plate, and it comes with the metal scraper. Now I want you to look at this plate. Look at all those scratches on this plate. So I do not suggest you use the metal scrapers. These are no good. The Born Pretty came with these little flimsy scrapers, or you can use a credit card, whatever you want. I got like 3 of these little things, and they work just great. And as you could tell with this one, I've used this lots, but there is no scrape marks on it whatsoever. That's because I used the plastic. Let's paint the base of my nails. I already prepped and washed my nails. So I'm going to use Julep Oxygen Bonding Base Coat first. Okay, so then I'm just going to do 1 coat of this. It doesn't have to be opaque or anything like this, just something just to give a nice base to your nails. Use the liquid latex and just paint quickly on your nails. It doesn't have to be thick, just enough. And when it dries a dark pink. So as you can see, that right there is drying a darker pink. Do not stick your fingers together, it'll pull it apart. So while this is drying, we'll paint our sponge. So we'll go back.
You have let yourself go. Gross. See? I'm not such a
Just load it up. Go to the next color. And overlap it.
And I'm going to tell you something. You can go ahead and choke this little mushroom kingdom all you want. Because I'm out of here. I'm out into the bigger world.
And then go to the next color and overlap it just a little bit.
The rest of the meteorite. Soon to be dead, Flowers. And by the way, you really gotta try to...
Okay, we'll go with the pinky first. And we'll just start dabbing this right onto the nail.
King Koopa here. I'd like the Koopa special.
And dab up and down just slightly, and side to side just slightly, just so it gets blended nicely.
Hold the mammal.
Like so.
That's gross.
Then we load up the sponge again with your polish. So go with the red. Then go with the middle. Load it up nice, thick. And go with the darker purple. I'm going to go back with that middle color again, just to blend it. And I'm going to go with the next finger and just start dabbing. Make sure you go up and down just a smidgen so it blends those colors together. That way you get that gradient effect. And there you go. Load up your sponge again. And we'll do the same here. Just press down, go up and down just slightly to blend those colors. Make sure you go side to side. There you go.
Now! See?
Mario and Luigi.
This part's funny.
I think you ought to know that Iggy and Spike were preaching your overthrow of the Rumble Bar.
Really?
Yeah,
I
Mario,
am very disappointed in you guys.
Oppressor of the proletariat.
Guy in charge.
Excellent.
Kill them.
Side to side, make sure you go up and down just slightly.
This is hardly the time and place.
And you're done. I'll take my orange stick and just start rubbing
With you? Then I'll play on.
Didn't tell him she has the rock because he wouldn't listen.
What I like to do is I like to grab tweezers. Pull the rest off. And there you go, clean nail. You use your fingers just to, if you want.
We're too dumb to realize that they need to around.
They like it. They're dancing.
Use my orange stick just to make sure that I got.
I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat anything with a face. I am kind of hungry, though. Any chance of a plate of steamed vegetables?
Am I interrupting? Out.
Lena, look, I know you don't want me here. So maybe...
I like this room, don't you? It used to be my office, you know.
So there we go with the gradient nails. Now all I have to do is go through with some acetone and a brush. Just do this out the door because this is a thinner formula. I just don't want this to bleed when I'm doing my stamping. So I'm gonna do a quick top coat on everything. I just want a nice, good surface for stamping, but these nails turned out super cute. Now I was gonna stamp with this OPI, Is the Star Taken, but I did a test stamp and it did not pick up and transfer. So always do a test stamp. You never know what's gonna transfer or what's not gonna transfer. This Femme Fatale in Breath of Zephyros does stamp very well. Let's get this to focus. Possibly, maybe, maybe not. So this one does transfer just fine, but this OPI one does not. Maybe it's because the barred glitters. Don't know, but this one does good for stamping. I'm gonna take my Julep Soft Focus in Alley. And then I'm just gonna brush this right across. I'm gonna use the rolling technique because that tends to pick up the product with a more clean image. And as you can see, it picked up the product just fine. And then I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna just roll it onto my middle finger. I'm going to look through the top here and place it right down on my finger. Like so. I'll take my orange stick and then just place that down onto I like to press it down into the cuticle, kind of separate it from the skin as well. To the next finger. So we're going to take this. There's a little bit of product left on the stamper. The lint roller again, just to get any extra debris off. You do not want any debris on this whatsoever. You also need to make sure you clean the stamping plate. And then use your orange stick right away. Image was picked up perfectly. There the Femme Fatale in Breath of Zephyros, and we're going to double stamp with this. Here we go with the final result. There you go. Now you can see it from an angle. We have the roses on there. Turned out pretty cute. Hopefully this wasn't too long of a tutorial for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!